very warm welcome to you, and thanks for making out time to be with us on the program today. So if you've managed to keep a genuine smile on your face in spite of the challenges, then you are our hero. Congratulations.
Yes, so and our job here this week, our job every week here is to help through showing practical ways to winning and scaling over all of the obstacles in your way towards achieving that peace of mind and fulfilling purpose. Our carefully selected guests make this possible every week as we connect you with professionals who know and insist that everything is possible. I'm laughing and a bit, John, you did.
We'll
okay.
wake you.
All right.
It's a good package we have for you this weekend as we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation. I am John Senaya.
And I am Helen Odele. The program is Today with John and Helen Live, and we're reaching you from the studios of PlusTvAfrica here in Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria. Thanks for making it a date with us. So much to benefit from our guests today, so please make a decision to take away as much as you can, free of charge, of course. We should take a quick break right now, and we'll return before you know it with the details of the show. Please, please, please don't change the channel.
Right, since the last time we were here, so much has happened to transport us from where we were to where we are presently. Seriously speaking, we ask, are you in a good place right now? Is the difficult time bringing out the best or maybe the worst in you?
All right, John, so, okay, let us help to inspire, impact, and encourage you. Plus, provide strategies to ensure that you make the desired progress irrespective of the climate that we're in, if you know what I mean. Excel Adeleye Samuel, our first guest, is a master in this field, and he will shed a lot of light today on strategies to making progress in the midst of all of the troubles and the confusion that we find ourselves in.
And he's not a stranger on
At
this
all.
show. We also have Chizoba Akune, who will be joining us, and she comes highly recommended, and she will unlock the door to authentic creativity in both children and adults.
So we say the 90 minutes conversation today will be spiced up with interesting and timeless messages and information, plus a time in the gym with Dolly Phillips if we find the time.
If we find the time. This segment which reminds us of who we are, our culture, tradition, music, dance, and heritage, which is Culture Conversation with Chizobam Ofegbu, is loaded today and a must watch. It is time to get to the nitty-gritty of the show. So Helen, what do we have?
I saw you stumbling with the Chizobam.
Yes.
And the Chizobam.
I didn't have breakfast.
One of them is our guest, one of them is
we
part
have
of the show.
Chizobam and we have Chizoba.
Yes. All right, so John, to our first concern today, which is making sure that we pull as many people as possible out of the state of confusion, distress, and many distractions challenging us. Excel Adeleye Samuel is in the business of saving lives, literally, as an abstract thinker, professional counselor, and chartered mediator. He is co-founder, Walmart Counseling and Coaching Company. Our guest is host, Stress-Free Parenting Coach Class, and Sparkle's Single Support Group for Divorcees. He is also founder, Walmart Behavioral Science and Mental Care College. Excel Adeleye Samuel is a profound spiritual therapist. John. Many months after, I got to fly through that. He's also a futurist and entrepreneur. He joins us today to make sense of the confusion and trouble that is all around us. Good to see you again. We haven't seen this year.
Yes, I'm excited to be back.
And you look better this year than last year.
That means I'm trying regarding of the stress because you're really stressful here, you know.
That's why
Thank you
here.
for the compliment.
So we can tap from the anointing.
Yeah. And both of you are looking great.
Thank you.
Nice to see you guys again.
When I grew up, I want to be like you.
Don't flatter me, sir.
So we are a solution-driven program today, and we count on your health of experience. I just want to say welcome again
Thank you.
to the show.
Thank you.
And maybe we should dive into the questions like we always say.
You want to take the first shot?
Yes, I wouldn't mind taking the first shot.
Go ahead.
Because, I mean, today we're experiencing a very fast-paced and often chaotic world. So, Excel, how do you define sanity? And why is it crucial amidst all of this confusion?
I think the best way to define sanity is your consciousness to look beyond the crisis and embrace yourself part time. And the reality is that we have no control over a lot of things that happen. I do say to couple especially, I say you have no control over your spouse. You only have control over yourself.
Yeah.
And when you notice that most of the insanity we face has to do with external, it is even worse if you're from internal, because we have cases which is from internal. That's more mental cases. But at today we are looking at more external factors. So I mean, the first is to look inward and embrace yourself. It's very critical at this time because this is not going to get better, and we have to we have to accept the reality. That's the first. So the first thing we do in any case is first do assessment of the reality. First assessment. I think where people have a problem is don't do assessment of what is on ground now as we speak. Globally, the world is facing critical economic crisis now, but there are some nations that has been in economic collapse even before the global collapse. So even this was off. So where do you stretch your hand for help? It's more difficult. And some cases of nation who have a lot of debt on ground and all of that. So we need to first do an assessment. What is the reality of what is in ground? What do I earn, for example, a salary? Based on what is happening. I mean, Google the other day just sacked some staff. Yeah. Microsoft is out to do layoff and all of that. So it's more likely that what you are earning is going to be reduced. Is either by sack or by companies saying, do you know what, we can't afford to pay. As a matter. So that's the reality of what we are. So the question therefore for that, if I know my reality, you need to first embrace the reality first. I think a lot of people live in denial, so you may not need to buy the clothes you buy always. You may need sometimes to take a walk to the store to buy things and not use your car to go there. You may need to use a bicycle, for example. Like, for example, I use bicycle a lot. I enjoy it. You may need to reduce a lot of things. That is you first embracing your reality. The reality is that in our family, we plan to have 4 children. As we speak, we can't have 4. We may just stick to these 2. It's our reality for now. Yeah. It is those 2 steps first are very important. And I will give you a practical example. There's this demolition that is going on in Lagos State. And fortunately, I'm part of it. I went through it. I was just sharing with Madam Helen of recent now. And I just woke up one day. And my guys called me that my friends were coming down. My property were coming down. There was no notice. No information whatsoever. Now, for anybody, you'll be in some state of shock. A friend told me, Doc, I will have collapsed and died. I don't love that. But as I saw the picture, the first thing I said is, can you take more videos? Can you take more videos? Which is very important that we need to develop a mechanism to first look at the problem when it comes, not to react based on the problem. Okay. And it's an exercise we must be able to do over time before crisis. For example, we may lose our loved ones suddenly. We must be able to think ahead about it. Nothing is sure in this world. Nothing is sure. Even our life itself is not sure as we speak. I told them, can you take the videos, can you take the pictures, and all of that? Then we'll go over it. I can tell you, I bet you, I got to my property and I wept. I saw millions of naira laborers retirement plan work on, and some of my friends and my colleagues and all of that. But the reality is, what do we do afterwards? There is a bigger opportunity. And I remember this, I will never forget. I once lived in a place, and this is quite emotional for me, and I could not afford my rent. And the landlord had to give me quick notice. And I remember when I was living in that house, I said to myself, this will be the list of house I'm going to live in terms of standard of income. As my father, I live in a better accommodation. I live in a better life and all of that. So it's very important to believe, regardless of the situation,
Step back.
Yes, you step back and believe that there's a better tomorrow. which is resulting to the fact that we must always see a bigger picture regarding of the problem. I can bet you today I'm speaking about this problem. I'm going to speak to you about the next 1 year, 2 years, about a bigger development beyond that. Because a state of mind, I've always been working, is a consciousness I work on. And nothing take that away from me. So when you become hopeless in life, you can't even see hope in the problem you're seeing. So I do say something, as one who is very spiritual. I say this, the greatest regret I've had is for me to ask God, why did it happen? That's the greatest regret I've had. I've now learned later to ask, what are you teaching me from there? What are the lessons I need to learn from here? That is why it's very important also that in the midst of crisis, you take a lot of recording and documentation. They're very important. A lot of lessons and documentation, very important through the process of life. So, and I've seen afterward, for the time you pick up the lesson, you use it as a tool for a better tomorrow. These are few things I've learned in you making sanity.
Okay.
For yourself.
All right. You make it sound like nothing to worry about. There are people in this town at the moment, or in this country at the moment, who, whenever what they have in their hands is taken from them, it's like it's impossible to replace. They have no idea the next step to take. And that's why you're here today, to make it as practical as possible, so we can help the millions of people, you know, who probably do not have the shock absorber that you have, you know, from many years of experience in this job. So let's get to the families. Could you share, you know, you have sessions with a lot of people, I'm sure more often now than previously.
Correct.
So could you share some common challenges that individuals and families face right now in Nigeria? And how do you go about helping them?
You see, it's what you said is quite emotional, because lots of families are living in a uncertain world now. And I'm sure you can see the mass of Nigerians living this country looking for a better life, and as a family unit. As a matter of fact, some of the visa process has reduced these days because some nations are saying that we are stopping family from coming. You get that? So family are leaving. And that also because they are not sure and they are not hopeful about tomorrow. And where there's a famine in the nation, people are looking, where's the next place I can find water? I can find good living. So family are facing problem of hopelessness. Family are also facing the problem of uncertainty about their financial stability as we speak. And I can bet you, for everywhere I stayed or at work, I've seen people pack out more than usual as we speak, because they can't afford rent as we speak. A lot of people can't afford rent as we speak. But you know, it is also sad because most of these little things is now becoming the bigger problem, and they're not seeing that the foundation of this is just the crisis happening around, now ministering to the family. So they are seeing themselves as a problem and looking at the big elephant, though it looks like an ant in the room, which is the societal problem, which everybody move in that direction. And one of the things we do as my work is we first do an assessment of what's the problem. And for example, if a woman comes into session, they can say 101 thing that the husband has done beyond what is happening now. And they go back to the history and all of that. Some will say even for the first night. Some will even say when we're dating, you know, as well. And we do a thorough assessment for both parties, you know, to look at the crisis. Beyond that, then we now look at, okay, what do you really want? We find that a lot of people actually want to stay. People want happy life. They want happy family. People don't want to lose their children. People want to raise their family well. People want to grow old and live together old. Those are the dreams and all of that. So the thing is now focus on the dream and help them through process of working the dream. But more importantly, what I would say, which is very important, is a lot of people don't have access to go to session, not do embrace it. But it's very important first to seek for help. Help is available almost everywhere. One of the problems, especially my concern has been for men, especially a lot of men are not speaking out and they are confused and unhappy as well. But most of men also are not looking for where to vent. One of my support.
They can watch soccer.
They can watch folk and all of that. But at the end of the day, they just aspire, you get it, and watch Premier League and all of that. But one of the things men also need to do, especially in not sidelining women, they need to look for a group of men. One of my support group, a group of friends, I consciously made this group of friends. And I remember one of those nights when I went and they were making gesture and making joke about me. But do you know what's so therapeutic? Very therapeutic. So men may need to look for clique or friends or group of friends where they can just hang out. It could be Friday night, it could be Saturday out, and just talk and laugh about all the problem. But no, one of the benefits of that is that men speak to men. Most times men don't speak to their wife. Not because they don't want to speak, but they also feel that I'm labored. If I speak it to you, you're going to carry the problem and you're going to also be pained. Or you're going to analyze it in that way.
Yeah.
So they rather just want to keep it and all of that. But men share and men speak to men. And what I've also seen that men are also easy to support each other when they look for the right group. No, so for women especially, I think it's more important at this point in time to embrace themselves and to love themselves more. Because this societal problem is making women feel not loved. Women feel not accepted. Men feel now that they're laboring more than usual. And sometimes women in that case even forget there's a man in their house.
Ooh.
Yes, they forget to today. And they begin to carry the load themselves.
Yeah, we see a lot
So these are
of that
critical.
happening. Yeah. Okay, I mean, for me, if you can't turn to men, you turn to God.
Yeah.
That's what we see a lot of people
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that my spiritual therapist
Yeah.
is in the studio with us today.
Yeah.
So tell us, how does spirituality, intersect such, with mental health? Because the situation we have here is a mental health situation.
Yes.
And how can it contribute to maintaining sanity during challenging times?
Without dividing any religion, I want to say this as an observation, that the religious groups and prayer meetings we have around are actually helping greatly. And I don't think Nigeria have taken time to take a statistic studies and a survey to know that there's prayer meetings all around that people do 7 a.m., 6 a.m., 5 a.m. are great support as well. They are a form of group, they are a form of community helping, and it's kind of stirring up their mind and their spirit to hope that there's something. So anytime they go to prayer, it's a hope that something is going to happen. And when there's hope, suicide is less as well. You get it now? So those are helping. But most importantly, for those who are not part of any religious group, you could do some level of meditation and take meditation class. It's very important.
Yeah.
Meditation is very easy.
And the world is turning to meditation.
It's turning to, and it's very helpful. I know I was talking to a friend, and I said that, I've mastered, I saw that if there's noise everywhere here, I go in my silence inside of me to look for solution, to talk about solution and move further. And you think that nothing has happened. That's part of meditation.
Yeah.
So I think at the spot, people need to focus more on the spirituality about their life, because people believe that we have body, soul, and spirit. The question I have people is that, how far have you grown your spirit? And the simple answer I need to ask is that, how many minutes, hours per day have you taken to groom your spirit? Or how much have you budgeted to groom your spirit? Then you find out people is almost completely zero. And once your spirit is defeated, your mind will be defeated, and your body will be defeated. I've noticed this in a place of work. For everybody who can walk into my session, and they're very hopeful, it is easy for me to connect them for them to get their result. And I've seen rapid change for those who believe in the process, those who are ready for the process, those who have committed the process, those who, in a way, can just see that there's a hope about it. So, and that's what spirituality does. Spirituality helps you from that your deepest down, even when your mind is not working. Because at the point you're going to cry, at the point you'll be confused yourself and all of that. But spirituality helps you to hear that still voice or that silent voice that say, be calm, and you're just going to believe. And you could just hear that and just believe that. Because everything will one day desert us. Everything sometimes one day will disappoint us. One thing that can't disappoint your spirit is a gift given to all. But then we need to be skilled at it. We need to pay attention to it, especially in critical times.
And I'm happy. Sorry, Helen.
Yeah.
I'm happy you said that, because I always talk about my me time.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I wake my alarm up at 4 o'clock. The alarm goes up at 5. So officially I start my me time at 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. And what do I do within that space of time, I do my devotion, which takes me about 30 minutes, and then I run through whatever I have in my head. Because between 5 and 7, honestly, there's less distraction, right? From distractions start coming from about 7:30.
Exactly.
So it's that is the time, excuse me, that I am able to do my own form of spirituality, so to speak.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I mean, you said it's so profound. That's why I advise anybody, find 3 days or 5 days. Go off and shut off from every activity.
Yeah, and looking
good. Just take a vacation deliberately. Leave your children. They will be alive, they will not die. You need to enquit so that you can be a better parent. You need to be enquit to be a better husband or wife. And the only way is to re-engineer yourself. And that space is very important because a lot of people, their routines have taken away their life so that they don't have a life. They're just working like a robot and all of that. And that me time is very important. I mean, even us as religious people, some people pay 5%, 10% to God and all of that. The question is, actually, in the time, what is the 10% of time you give to yourself?
True. Yeah.
And a lot of people can answer that question.
Ooh.
That's deep.
That's very deep. That's very deep. You know, we're about solutions here today. We're about helping people with practical solutions and strategies, you know, things they can just pick here and there and put into practice and see their lives just soaring instead of, you know, dipping. Okay, so my next question is, this is where we are. At the beginning of this conversation, behind the cameras, we were talking about the environment where we find ourselves today. You know, some policies come up from the government and it shakes us, you know, really shake the people. And 2, 4, 5 days, 1 week down the line, we seem to have settled in. And before you know, bang, something else comes up and you're like back to where you were. I'd like to know if all of these shakings have helped the families and people to bond better, or is it a positive thing from your experience? You know, when you have sessions with people, are you seeing people becoming better people? Are you seeing families getting more united, coming together as one and forging towards progress?
That's a very complex question. I use the word complex because here we don't have database, but I can bet you from just observation that I jokingly will say that I need to write a book to explain the psychology of the average Nigerian. I don't think we are okay as a person. And I say with all due respect, we're one of the most beautiful people, the happy, going fellow people. Nigerians are accommodating. Nigerians have some level of empathy. The average Nigerians are smart, intelligent, you know, as well. Nigeria are one of the most hopeful people you can meet. Despite, and even when they're dying, they're very hopeful, you know, as well. However, we need to look deep down because is it moving us forward as a person? Is it moving us forward as a nation? And that, I doubt the question and the answer towards that, because I don't understand how somebody can use a razor blade to cut you and you bleed. And the next 1 minute you say embrace and life still go on. Is it that you don't feel pain or something is wrong? In that way, I want to say that something is wrong with the average Nigerian. And I will say this with all due respect. For example, when a policy is made in Nigeria and the policy just affects lives and some people become homeless and all of that, the Nigerian people need to also learn how to address the problem and not go silent on the problem. Okay. So what they do with the Nigerian people will do is that, like, you walk into a house and you find some particle of sand and dirt. So what you do, you just put them aside and you move on. You
sweep it under the carpet.
That's what we do. That's what we do as the average Nigeria, which is not helpful as a person. And that's why you could see a marriage of 25 years in marriage, and then one day the woman just will come and say, do you know what? It's over. I'm not doing it again. A guy just said,
why is it the woman that will wake up and say, I don't
oh, you see, that is very easy because women are more emotional than men. That's not say that some men are not emotional, as it were. For example, there was a social experiment that was carried out. So this guy tried to kidnap a child, and 2 women was walking past, and they quickly held themselves and walked past. Now 2 guys also were passing, and the guy did same thing by holding the children. The 2 guys immediately attacked the guy who was trying to kidnap, by our biological makeup, we are different species.
Okay.
A woman will fall in love with everything when a man is logically thinking about all his decisions.
Okay.
When a man then stay in the marriage, a man finding it hard to leave suddenly, what the woman say, it's over at those points. And the guy, even when he's not comfortable, we say, you know what, I will just manage my way through. It is a different personality as well. So a man is run to protect when a woman is run to care. And that's why when you look at the medical industry, you have find more women being nurse, not men. You have find more men being an engineer, not women.
That would be an argument. I
mean, that's statistics, as well. It's just a reality. So in saying what I'm saying, I think that we need, which I think I've said in this program before we elect political leaders, we need to do some mental assessment for them. Leaders at home need to do mental assessment. Average person, family, every year need to do the way we do medical audit, need to go and do mental audit to know, am I okay? Wow. A lot of things have happened to a lot of people that they don't even know that things have happened. I see a lot of people at death cup just walking. The day you announce their death is the day they stop breathing, but they're actually dead as a person. So a lot of people are not actually okay. That's why you hear some people travel and they say, I feel life here. All they're saying is that for the first time they are seeing some level of organization. They know that this policy will take us at least 10 years because it changed. As we speak today, new policy just show up. And guess what? I just saw in the news as I was coming this morning, the guy said, he has invested about 12 billion into farming or something, a white guy, and suddenly insecurity wants to disrupt this business. What do you say about that? So I don't think we're okay. And all this have direct effect on the family system. And the other day, they wake up because there was a crisis where a guy alleged that there was a corruption in the university system in Benin Republic. And what has happened? Our JAM, I'm sure you saw the statistics of the new JAM. Yeah. And you found out that we can't even admit those children. So where are they going to go, the students? And schools like Cotonou, Togo, Ghana have given opportunity for Nigerians to go there. Suddenly, the government said, because we saw one corruption or two corruption happen in that system, no children from Cotonou is going to allow to come and do NYCA or come back home. So what you have done is you have automatically disrupted the destiny of the leaders of tomorrow by just one policy. So we need to look at that. And the Nigerian people also need to wake up to speak out as well. Nigerian people tend to speak out. I feel pain here. Don't say, I don't feel pain. It may also be the way we are raised culturally to shut up our mouth when there's crisis. It could also be a fundamental problem. So, but need to speak out. And that's why we're trying to raise children who say what you want. Say how you are pained. Say to me as a child that you don't like this. And don't shut up your mouth as a child. So we see now that more young people are saying, but the Nigerian people who are elderly people, who are the one affected first with different policy, need to let out to speak out. They need to be constructive demonstration. They need to be moved in that of assembly, about tangible things, and all of that. And the only people who can make that move are the people. And this is my concern. That is why I have the opinion, I say that the problem of Nigeria is not leadership. I said the problem of Nigerians is followership. Okay. And people say, why do I say so? I said because the followers become the leader. And the easiest way to look at it is that, tell me a bad Nigerian leader, I will show you also multiple Nigerian bad followers.
Wow. Okay. That is very
deep. True. Very true.
That's very deep.
And you know what?
Excel, now? As usual.
Time.
We're going to have to set up another session for
available
because this idea of learning to feel and learning to speak out when you feel is very important.
Sure.
And honestly, we must thank you for giving us all this insight.
I really appreciate it.
For me, it's mission accomplished.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks a million for leading us to the place of power, of hope, determination, and results.
Thank you.
So that we don't find people jumping into the Third Mainland Bridge here and there. The problems are there. And you're not the only one who has said it. It's not going to get better. We just have to work harder, all right, and find better ways, to cope. Thank you again.
Definitely, we've benefited immensely from your insight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Axel, for coming. Yeah.
All right, thanks for keeping us company. That's Talking to You. The program is still today with John and Helen live. And we're coming your way from PlusTvAfrica. Up next is Culture Conversation with Chizoba Ofegbu. It is a rich blend of the old and the young. When you hear her and see her guest, you will know what I mean. Let's join Chizoba now and her guest.